Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. You have made it. It's week 4. This week, we have some really powerful audios. I'm really excited for you to tune in to these audios this week. A lot of them, there's no homework. It's just listening and really taking this in and really looking at what this foundations course has brought for you. You'll be able to reflect deeply on just what's on the surface for you in terms of the action you're being called to take next in your business, because we'll be talking about the law of the mirror coming up, which is just a lot to do with personal growth and really what's on the surface for you, what your team is reflecting back to you. Kelly will be teaching placements. So as you're in action and inviting and sampling and educating and all of these great skills that you're learning, as you're in the application of that, you're going to get a really great training call from Kelly Duhamel on how to place strategically for Premier Rank. This is when you're going to want to bookmark and save and come back to when your team is ready to learn placements. This is a great tool you can share with them, okay? So today I'm going to keep it light, and there's going to be a quick homework exercise, but like 5 minutes. I really think you guys are going to love this. So today is the foundational law of building beautiful relationships. Now, here's the interesting thing about this is that, when you first start out in your doTERRA business, it's typically not very hard to find people to come to classes. You make your initial contact list like we had you do. You think about the people that are on the surface for you and who you feel like would love to come out to a class or a webinar if you're in the online space, whatever. And, if you are struggling with that, there's likely some fears coming up and some resistance you'll have to work through. You're likely going to have to press play on Cheryl's foundational law of courage and just do it. That's really the reality of that. But in the beginning, it's not hard to get out there. And then what we teach you guys is the concept of booking classes from classes. So there's a lot of people I'm working with and mentoring right now, and they're almost at elite, and they're pumped up from a convention and this foundations course, and they've got a few classes lined up in their calendar. And I said, awesome. Your only job is to show up and shine and tell your story and connect and all of the things we've been teaching you. And I said, I told some of my new people, I said, you have a few classes under your belt. Do you feel confident that you can do that now? And they're like, yes. And their belief is through the roof, right? After attending convention. So, just another reminder there. I know Kelly taught on the foundational law of events. Like, you want to get out to as many events as you can, you guys. This is just going to help you really understand. It's hard to understand the vision of the company if you never hear from the founders, if you don't really listen. And like, live stream is great, but make that investment in yourself. It's really going to change the game for you. Okay. So, what I've been telling my girls that are in Momentum, and what I will tell you is, as you get out there and you're teaching these classes, you want to start to book classes from classes. You want to practice this idea of building beautiful relationships right as you walk into the room of someone else's home or your own home. Maybe you have an aunt or a cousin coming that but if they bring someone, if there's someone there you don't know, you want to practice going up and just introducing yourself. And what I recommend is make it all about them. Okay, this is step 1 of building relationships, is make it all about the other person. And this might be really nerve-wracking for you. For me, it was. I'm a very introverted person, but I'm so grateful. I am so grateful for these skills that they say if you grow a successful business in network marketing, you will become such a radically freaking awesome person, because it teaches you to bust through fear. It teaches you how to make it about the other person. It teaches you how to add value to people, which I'm going to talk about in a second. It teaches you how to become a person of value. Like, you are going to become such a beautiful role model for your kids, for, everyone around you. This business is such a gift in that way. So when you walk into a class, you want to practice going up to people and just saying like, hey, how are you? Or tell me about you. What I'm teaching tonight, my name is Geraldine, or my name is Michelle. What drew you here is a great question to ask. Like, what drew you to the class? I'm so excited to hear. And then just let them talk and listen. You really want to practice listening. So if they start going off about, oh, like, I don't know, my kid is really struggling with sleep. And, oh, how old is your kid? Let them talk about that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, and then what you're going to want to do is start talking about yourself. Like, I have a kid too. But keep asking them questions. People love to talk about themselves. And when you go out to teach a class, you really have like anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes before the class starts to build trust with people. So this is where your application of some of these foundational skills begins. And you just practice being that light where you go around and you're, hi, how are you? Where are you from? Just try it, guys. Step outside your comfort zone, okay? So now here's what happens though. Once you kind of leverage what we call like your warm market, the people that you are super close to, that you know, some people get stuck there because they think, well, who am I going to invite now? And this is where you shouldn't get stuck there. Because if you're putting into place what we're teaching you and you're building trust by when you go into a class, you're building relationships, you're connecting with people, telling your story is another way to build relationships, bringing that vulnerability in, letting yourself be seen and be raw. That builds trust, that builds a relationship. Going around at the end of the class and checking in and not hiding. Like when after you talk about the kids, do you go and run into the other room and hide? Or, this is a service business. We are not here to go and hide in the other room and negotiate with our own fears. We're here to put that aside and go up to someone and say, so what are you thinking? How can I help you get started? Or, okay, I see you're looking at the product guide. What questions do you have? Not, do you have any questions? Notice my words. It's what questions do you have? And you kneel down beside them. Maybe you have a few sample bottles in your purse, or I don't know, maybe it's, hey, I heard you asking a lot about Aromatouch while we were chatting. Aromatouch isn't actually a part of the main starter kits here, but I'd be happy to send you a sample of it if you get started tonight with a kit. Or like, I don't know, how can you make it all about them? Okay. And when you do that, and then you say at the end of your class, you say, I'm looking to, or not I'm looking, you say something like, I'm going to be teaching classes over the next 6 weeks, and I would love to come into your living room, into your office space, into your wellness clinic. So let me know. If you've done a good job, listen up, guys. If you've done a good job of implementing the foundational skills we've taught you here, you should be able to book a class from every class. And then what will start to happen is you start to leverage other people's networks. Isn't that the coolest thing ever in life? It's so freaking rad. So someone you might not even know will come up to you and say, hey, I really loved that class. Like, thank you for sharing. I loved your story. I would love for you to teach a class at my chiropractic clinic. And then you're going to be like, oh, and it'll come out of nowhere. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh. Right? So, excuse me, guys. If you've done a good job, then you get to build a relationship with that person and say to them, awesome, I would love to, email you this week. Does that work? Or why don't we exchange numbers and I'll text you and we can pick a date? Or you might say to them, here, why don't I send you home with this bottle of wild orange for booking with me today? Do you want, let's pick a date. And if they say, well, I need to look at my calendar, cool, I'll text you tomorrow. And then make sure you text them tomorrow. However you navigate that, but make sure you're starting to build the relationship in a beautiful way. Don't hide. Don't not get back to them for 2 weeks. Okay. You want to stay in that flow. So that's part one of building relationships, is booking classes from classes and practicing some of these foundational skills. Okay. Now, step two is, usually this can sometimes happen beyond elite. You guys might not even get to this, but I know some of you are actually elite already. So I want to touch on this. What can start to happen is there comes a point in your network marketing business where you are asked to upgrade this. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay. There comes a point where you're asked to upgrade this skill of building a relationship. So for example, You might reach out to everyone on your contact list, and then you think, well, now what? And maybe you've already been booking classes from classes, but maybe you're having a slow month and you've only got like one class. You don't want to just stop, okay? So again, tune into your heart, pull out another fresh sheet of paper and say to yourself, who is on the surface for me? Who am I meant to build a relationship with? You might think of the name of a local, massage studio that you've been going to, or a chiropractor that you really admire in your community, or a family friend that really values natural health. You might think of 3 people, you might think of 10. Okay, so I actually want you to do that right now as part of your homework. I want you to pull out a pad and paper, and aside from, you've already got your regular contact list, okay, but this is different. This is your building relationships contact list. Your other contact list, and some of these people you write down here actually might already be on that original contact list, because remember when we taught you the foundational law of creating a contact list, I very clearly said, like, circle the ones you're meant to reach out to right away. Some of them, I kind of planted the seeds. Some of them you might be called to cultivate a relationship with first before you do the invite. So now I want you to get clear on anywhere between like 3 to 10 people. Pick at least 3. What's on the surface for you? Who are you here to cultivate a relationship with? And write their names down. Okay? Who are you here to cultivate a relationship with? Maybe it's someone you haven't talked to in 10 years, so it feels kind of weird. That's a perfect example. Someone that's on the surface for you. You're not just going to send them a Facebook message and be like, hey, have you heard of doTERRA? Right? That's weird. We don't want to do that. We want to build a relationship first. So write down 3 to 10 people that you've been thinking about, but you probably, in a really smart way, haven't reached out yet, because you don't want to be weird. You want to build a beautiful relationship. And I'm going to teach you in a second how to do that. So write their names down. Okay. And if you're still writing, that's cool. I'm just going to dive right in. So, and if you haven't gotten 3 to 10 down, make sure you do this for homework. Here are some things to think about when building relationships with people. On your sheet of paper, underneath those 3 to 10 names, I want you to write out, how can I give value to this person? How can I give value to this person? Okay, so giving value is making it all about that person. Here are some simple ways. Let's say you know a family friend who's really into holistic health. You think that they would really love this. One way you can add value is reconnect with them on Facebook. Don't talk about doTERRA. Don't talk about essential oils. Just like a few of their Facebook posts. Once a week, like a few posts, comment, and give value in your comments. Like, Jen, I love the latest webinar you did on this. If they're an influencer or someone with a popular online brand, subscribe to their newsletter. Maybe tag a friend in one of their posts. How can you add value to them? Okay. Other ways you can add value. Let's say you're thinking about a spa. So I'm going to share a story to land this teaching point. When I was pregnant, I really, really, really loved going to this women's pregnancy center, we'll call it. It's basically this beautiful wellness clinic. It was all designed to care for pregnant women. Just so beautiful, so visionary. And so I would go there for osteopath treatments, holistic chiropractic work. There's a naturopath there, like everything. My midwives were there. It was so awesome. Massage therapy tables with the space for your pregnant belly. It was just so nurturing. And I thought this place, would be so awesome. But I heard from a friend in the community that a few people had talked to them about essential oils. And the owner was kind of like, I don't really know yet. They also have a store attached to their clinic where they sell a lot of holistic health products. So I saw it as a beautiful opportunity for them, but I didn't want to rush the process or go in there and be like, did you hear about essential oils? Because, through my listening and my observation of what other people were telling me, it sounds like the timing for them isn't right now. But I wrote them on my contact list in my office under the people I wanted to build relationships with. And I would just look at that question every day. How can I give value? And you might not think of an answer right away, but if that is posted in your office and it's in your heart, what's going to happen is you're going to get these random ideas. So one day I saw an opportunity. I went to get my massage at this beautiful wellness clinic, and I noticed a pamphlet for a customer appreciation week they were having. And I thought, how beautiful would it be if I donated in pure gratitude with not looking for anything in return from them? What if I were to donate some doTERRA products to them that they could then gift to their community? They attract a lot of, obviously pregnant women and a lot of women who care about their health, right? So I sent a message on Facebook. I had already added the owner of the clinic on Facebook as a friend, and I had sent her a message before adding value saying like, hey, I love your new massage therapist. She's really great. So we had built this relationship. Again, I did not talk about doTERRA. I did not pitch her a class, okay? So I sent her a message on Facebook and I said, hey, so-and-so, I noticed that you have an upcoming customer appreciation week. I would love if you're open to it. In pure gratitude for your place. You guys have really just transformed my life and my pregnancy. I'm so grateful. I said, I would love to drop off some doTERRA products. Would that be of interest? And she wrote back right away and said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We would love that. You guys, I went to town. I used 150 to 200 of my personal product points in my back office. And I took time and I thought to myself, what would they enjoy? And I basically picked oils and blends and things that the studio, the spa could use, but also their customers could use. Okay. So I put it all together. I labeled it. I said, your front desk girls might like Breathe essential oil for a midday, energy boost, rub it on the chest just to open the airways and feel good. And I gave them some citrus oils they could wear as perfume. And, I went to town. You guys, they loved it. And it felt so good to just serve, right? I would go in there and I remember the chiropractor saying oh my gosh, we have our own doTERRA drawer now at the front desk. We love it. And I said, awesome. So guess what happened? About 3 weeks later, I got an email from the front desk staff. And one of the girls at the front desk said, hey, we're really loving these products and we're thinking about ordering them. How do we do that? And so I responded. And of course I said, well, there's a few options. And I just laid it out for them, but no pressure, no weirdness. I gave them the call to action though, on exactly how to do that. I said, I'm so pumped. You guys are thinking of grabbing your own account. And then she ended up writing back and saying, okay, we'll think about it. So I thought to myself, you know what? They're just not ready yet. And for what reason, who knows? Maybe they had a bad experience before with another company. You don't know, right? But as long as you're that beacon of light and you're adding value, when they are ready, they're going to come to you. So about a week after that email, I ended up getting another email from the owner herself. And she said, we're thinking of doing a spa night with a few different network marketing companies. Would you or someone on your team be interested in doing a doTERRA booth? So guess what I did, guys? I saw an opportunity there. Here's what I did. Listen up, because I think this really models being of service and the culture of doTERRA. I responded back and I said, I am so excited that you're interested in, integrating the oils into some sort of service for your community. And I said, what do you think of this? Have you ever been to an oils class? I said, I know, because they're all about workshops for women. They've got workshops going on every day. And I said, the way doTERRA really operates is they're all about education and empowerment. And I said, I find personally booths just kind of come across salesy. You'll never see me do a wellness booth. Sometimes people do it when they're first learning. If you have a new person that wants to do a booth, go for it. But eventually over time, I think you should probably tell them it's not a good idea. When people go to wellness booths, they just end up getting distracted. They usually want free samples. It's just, you're not going to attract a diamond leader from a wellness booth. And it's different if you have one of the girls on my team, Kyla Holt, part of her business plan is she creates these beautiful DIY products like bath salts or lotions, and sometimes she'll sell them at a booth. but that's her way of building the relationship. It's actually very smart. So she's adding value first. She's getting them using the products, cultivating that relationship, but she's not just standing there with a booth like, hey, come buy my stuff. That's hiding, right? So just a side note there. So essentially I told the owner of this spa that, and I said, I know that you value like really strong connection with your customer base. Like, do you think it would be, this is how I pitched it to her. I said, do you think it would be cool if we had like a beautiful night where I just educated for free on essential oils, and they all got to leave with their own like custom blend. And I also put my own spin on it. And I said, the way that I teach is it's all about women connecting to that inner wisdom within, and I know she likes that. And she wrote back and she said, wow, I love how you put that spin on it. And of course she did, because I made it all about what doTERRA is about: service, education, not just standing behind a booth, right? Like, we're not a leggings company that just stands behind a booth. Like, that is so boring, So anyways, that's my story for you on building relationships. So I want you to journal for homework on those 3 to 10 people that you're here to build relationships with. How can you add value to them? And if an answer doesn't come up right away, that's okay. Post it in your office and just take a look at it every day as a reminder. And you're going to start to download creative ideas. You might even, funny things might happen. You might run into them in the grocery store. Or, you might start building a relationship on Facebook, and they might be like, oh my gosh, my kid is really sick. And then you'll have this perfect opportunity to bring them over a freshly baked pie and like a flu bomb or something like that made with oils, And so it's just learning to become a person of value. The last thing I will say on this is, don't get discouraged, guys. This is a skill that takes practice. It will probably take you a year or two. I don't want to bullshit you. It will probably take you a year or two to get good at this. Because you don't just learn a skill overnight. It's like my kid learning to walk. It's taken her 10 months to learn how to just start to crawl. We don't expect a baby to just pop out and walk, So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I've been doing that, and I spent a lot of money, and I donated oils to a yoga studio or whatever, and that didn't get me anywhere. Well, welcome to business, right? We constantly have to have that trust and deep breaths and look at, how can I keep getting better? How can I keep refining my skills? And like the great Bob Proctor says, when you're committed to doing that, and you're committed to your personal growth and opening up your mindset around that, if you keep planting these seeds, if you keep building these relationships, what's going to happen one day? The sky is going to open and so much is going to flow onto you, so much abundance, so many leads. It's going to happen. So you have to trust, but you got to put in the work. You can't get to this point without putting in the work. And this never stops. Look at that story I just told you. I mean, I'm a Blue Diamond leader, and that story I just told you is very fresh. These people actually have not fully signed on with me yet. I'm still cultivating the relationship. So I'm still working on this too. It's this never-ending process. So be really kind to yourself. I want you to post in the comments below in our foundations group. I want you to comment. What do I want you to comment? Let's see. I want you to comment one idea that you are currently implementing, okay, with respect to building a relationship. So maybe you're going to do what I did. You're going to drop off just some free oils to a spa. Or maybe one of the 3 out of the 10 people you wrote down is a mom that you have been building a relationship with, and her kid is sick. And maybe you're just going to drop by this week, and you're going to bring fresh muffins and Breathe essential oil, or the Breathe vapor rub. Okay, so write down one thing you're doing to add value to a relationship in your life right now. Write that in the comment section for homework. That's it, guys. So excited to finish this week off with you. It's going to be great. Have a beautiful night.